1, 2, 3.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to the broadcast, Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Friday, February 4th, 2022. And our top story today, end of life planning and avoiding the hallway huddle. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Eliza Feller is the Director of Advanced Planning for Saul Levinson and Brothers, Inc. Eliza, Happy New Year. Great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Yeah, same to you. Happy New Year. It's good to be back.
It is good to have you. And this is an important topic. And you know, the byline of our show is avoid the hallway huddle. And I have to think, as Director of Advanced Planning and someone who's been a funeral director in a previous role, you've had to see the hallway huddle, and it's just heartbreaking.
Right. And it happens in a lot of scenarios. You know, they talk about the hallway huddle in terms of making medical decisions, end of life medical decisions, but also certainly it comes into play with funeral arrangements. And nobody has ever really suffered from having things planned ahead of time in any regard. And unfortunately, a lot of these decisions are left until it's late and your family is struggling to have those conversations at an emotional time.
Emotional, anxiety, stress, that can really mess with your decision making, and that's really the last thing, Eliza, that you want to have on someone else's plate. You want to push off to your loved ones who are already dealing with your loss. And by the way, we're all going to be there at some point. You don't get off this planet alive. Let's put it that way.
Right, and it's really one of those things where people think my kids will know what to do. My family will know what to do. But the fact is they don't. They're not inside your head. Do you prefer to control the spending and, you know, put more money toward quality of life? Do you want to move faster into a facility that can provide you greater assistance? And also, you know, obviously the financial part of funeral planning is something I can speak directly to. And still, even there, families just don't know what someone would have wanted.
Yeah, let's talk about two key pieces, key documents. And we've talked about this before, but I think it's important to just keep remembering and talking about it because it might click for somebody. So let's talk about the two documents. One's like an advance directive or a living will. What exactly is that?
Sure. So your advanced directives, obviously people think a lot about at what point do they want, if someone's on life support, do you want to go on life support? At what point would you be taken off life support? What emergency measures would be used at the time of a medical emergency? The thing is, there's a lot more that goes into an advanced directive, and it's a conversation you really need to have with a medical professional. Your primary care physician can help talk to you about the nuances, not just of emergency end of life care, but also the stages along the way. What do you want to happen should certain faculties be impaired? What decisions do you want to make if your mobility becomes limited? And that can serve as a kind of decision-making chain for your family that's extremely helpful. And so they don't have to sit there, you know, several children are arguing, you know, should we move mom into assisted living? Should we move her straight to a nursing home? And what's really the best thing? And if you can be prepared in having that conversation, if you can think about that ahead of time, it really spares your family a lot of guilt that they may have unnecessarily, a lot of family tension and dynamics. And obviously the financial piece, again, you know, it comes back to that also.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that in the second segment. But really, when you're working with a doctor, so let's just create the scenario. you've got a parent, a loved one who has some failing health, they need assistance during the hospital, that doctor, he or she, they are going to need some direction. So these documents really help provide that direction in terms of care. And yes, you should go to a professional. There are lawyers, people who can specifically draft this type of information for you. But even if you had something simple that you wrote down and had it notarized, meaning you as an individual can direct that, that makes life a lot easier.
Absolutely. Really, any preparation that you can do is going to make things much easier on your family. And, again, I'm going to go back to having that conversation with a doctor. And certain states actually have documents that are slightly different than an advance directive that really involves a very detailed conversation with a doctor. But, you and I, we're not medical professionals and don't necessarily know how to foresee some of the things that could happen. But again, like you said, if something's at least written down and notarized, that's very important. If your doctor has it on file, if, someone has it in their hand when they go to have to make medical decisions, that is their step ahead.
Yeah. And before we go to commercial break, just let's talk about the funeral process, because, you as I mentioned, you were previously served as a funeral director. But now you're a director of advanced planning. Let's talk about some of the things that get baked into the funeral. In my mind, there's obviously the casket, there's the vault, but there's a lot of decision points that you need to think about for that day.
Right. So, it is really something that's much more detailed than people realize. A lot of people think, oh, you'll pick me up, you'll bring me back to the funeral home, have me dressed, placed in the casket, go to the cemetery. And there's truly a lot more. There's a lot more that happens behind the scenes that you may not even know about. But things like, where is the service going to be held? What are the needs of your family specifically in terms of that service? What's your personality and how do you want that reflected in that service? Some people say, you know what, I really just want to make sure that it's very casual, that it has some more lighthearted things in it, that it's really a celebration, or I want something just very straightforward and traditional. Who do I want officiating at the service? Do I have a connection with clergy or some sort of celebrant or officiant? Do I want photos displayed? Are flowers okay or not flowers? Where do I want contributions to go? Limousines and newspaper notices and death certificates. So there are really a lot more things. And then how you're dressed. Some people have very specific requests. Do you want something formal or want something casual? And your family, if you haven't had this conversation with a funeral professional ahead of time and at least gotten that information on paper, again, even if it's not something extremely formal, then your family is really one step ahead going into that difficult conversation.
Yeah, and as you said, it's like a laundry list of items that you have to go through. Eliza, I need to take a quick break. When we come back, the best advanced care and estate planning is well before you need it. We'll talk more about this with Eliza when we come back. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-504-8194.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Eliza Feller. She's Director of Advanced Planning for Saul Levinson and Brothers, Inc. Eliza, thanks so much for sticking with us this morning.
Of course, it's an important topic, and I'm always happy to talk about this really important thing that not everyone gives enough thought to.
That's absolutely. And look, we're, as I've said, and I said it jokingly, but it is true, we're all going to be there in some capacity. Let's talk about some of this. And I guess the first thing that kind of clicks in my mind, I think about death when I was younger, a lot younger. I used to think, okay, well, that's going to happen to me when I'm really old. But death can come at any time. When you're talking to potential clients, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but when you're talking to potential clients, is there an age that recommend start thinking about this?
I mean, definitely. Marriage is an important time to start talking about it. God forbid something happens to you and a spouse is put on the spot of having to decide. A lot of people, younger people getting married, haven't had those difficult conversations, and you really feel like you're just starting, but God forbid something happens suddenly, unexpectedly. When you have children, that's another important time to at least revisit that conversation. If you're planning for retirement, you're starting to save for retirement, that is a big piece of it. And that, for a lot of us, should start at a younger age. But certainly by the time you're in your 40s, this not only needs to be on your radar, but is a conversation you need to sit down and have. And it can change. You can say in your 40s, this is what I think I want right now, and then come back later and revisit it as you age. You're not stuck with the decisions you make now if in a decade or two you change your mind about what your wishes are.
Yep, and like us in general, your desires may evolve, but it's good to kind of get it all down on paper and make sure it's prepared so your loved one, your partner knows what, and your loved ones know what you want. I want to ask you this because I want to talk about advanced planning for a second, and I realize we're doing that, but let's talk about planning the funeral in advance and locking in those costs. And I have to ask you, we've seen the price of food, gasoline, housing go up. And I have to think that you're getting more interest about locking in those costs. And you can lock in some of those costs now by prepaying for a funeral.
Right. So typically, and it depends from funeral home to funeral home, what their policies are. But typically, the bulk of the cost of a funeral is the services that the funeral home is providing, whether that be the transportation and the casket and purchasing the vaults and the space for the service and their staff. And that obviously is going up over time because we have all those providers that are subject to those increase in charges that you just mentioned. And a lot of times you can lock in those costs. Now, certain other things like a cemetery's charge to open the grave, a newspaper notice, things that are considered third-party charges, in many places at many funeral homes, those can be prepaid as well. But the funeral home will not guarantee them because we have no control over those charges. At least with the items that we provide, we can work really hard to try to make sure that those costs don't go up. As significantly as other things may go up.
Yeah, and I would think now would be a great time to think about that advanced plan, that portion of advanced planning, given what we're experiencing in the cost of lumber. Caskets are made out of a lot of materials, one of which could be wood. And as you said, there's cost to do all sorts of components to the funeral. So really important to think about that. Last question, and I think you mentioned this at in the first segment, and that's the financial piece. And one document that I think we left out, or two documents that we left out that we really didn't give a lot of attention to, and that's the estate plan and the will. How important, and I know you're director of advanced planning, but do you talk to clients about having that estate plan and the possibility of probate and all the things that you have to think about with respect to finances?
So we don't go into detail into that too much just because we are not qualified to go through the details. I can tell you from my personal experience in speaking with people, having that estate planning meeting, really, again, I'm going to go back to with a professional. It's going to cost you money, but in the end could save you a lot of money, where to move assets and how to do that to protect assets so they are best used for someone's long-term care, things like that. Also, really designating what's going to happen after the fact. I mean, a will under any circumstances is incredibly important. And a lot of that just, again, people put it off. I don't need a will. I don't really have any assets. The fact is everyone has assets of some kind. And putting your family in a position where they may have to figure things out on the fly. They may have to go through orphans court. There's could be some debate over who gets what. Doing that ahead of time is going to save your family a lot of stress. I'm going to go back to, I've been talking about families and couples and children, but also I really want to emphasize, especially for people who are single or who have, they don't have surviving family. The importance of this gets magnified. Who are you going to use to take care of things at the time is a difficult conversation, a difficult thing to think about, but also, again, something that needs to be determined, and the appropriate documents should be filled out ahead of time.
Yeah, really, really sound advice, and hopefully people take it and get started and start thinking, at least think about it, and then you can implement the plan, but don't wait too long. Eliza Feller, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, well, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to see our latest content or search our archives? Well, of course, you can check out our website. That's www.broadcastretirementnetwork.com, and our streaming partners like Amazon, Roku, Samsung, and over 100 more. We're back again tomorrow where we're going to take a look back at some of our best segments for the week on BRN Weekly. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Waiting here for you to take and drink of. But if you're tired of the same old
Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.